Hey, so it's Good Friday 2026, and you know what that means. A surprise drop from U2 has just happened for the Easter Lily EP. And if you don't know, they dropped a surprise EP on Ash Wednesday this year as well. And I thought that Ash Wednesday EP was fucking fantastic. Like, I loved it. I go back to some songs on their regularly, Song in the Future specifically, I loved. Um, I forget what I rated it. It doesn't really matter. The ratings of these things are kind of pointless, honestly. But I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoy U2 for the most part. Like, I've been listening to them since I was a child, and my dad is a huge fan of this band. So I've been listening to them all throughout my life. And, it's just like kind of fantastic to live at a time when they're like releasing. So, like, I think they have an album dropping this year as well, which is pretty cool. Um, so yeah, just fantastic. And I'm gonna get into the EP now. So right off the bat, I will say this is a pretty religious like EP. U2 is a pretty religious band. I mean, they dropped their last EP on Ash Wednesday, and this one has songs like Coexist, I Will Bless the Lord at All Times, Easter Parade, and Resurrection Song, and Scars, I think, is about Jesus as well. Um, but it's pretty, I find it pretty cool that they like wear their like beliefs on their chest, and like they're like very like passionate about all this stuff. I feel like if you're gonna be Christian, you may as well go for it. You know what I mean? Like, fucking be real and stuff if you actually believe in this stuff, which it seems like they all do. Um, and yeah, I thought it was like a pretty good collection of songs. I do think the Ash Wednesday EP was stronger than this one. So I would suggest, if you haven't heard that one, I would check that one out before checking out this one, unless you're like super religious or something, in which case this one might be right up your alley. But for me, I just felt like I connected to some of their more politically charged statements and stuff on the last EP more so than this one, where it's fully like beliefs and religion and like thinking about death. And I don't know, it was still really beautiful though. I'm not gonna deny that, but I just felt like there was more for me personally in the Ash Wednesday EP. Song for Hal is dedicated to Hal Wilner. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Whom worked with U2 multiple times apparently. Um, I'm not super familiar with like his how much he's worked with U2, or I've never heard the name before today. But it's cool that they like felt so personally connected to him, and like it's his birthday soon. Apparently, he died on April 7th of 2020. Apparently, and they just wrote a little song for him. And I like the song for Hal. My girlfriend's name is Hallie, so we listened to the song together last night, and it was really beautiful. And like, I don't know, I think she connected with it a lot. Like, you're not alone, and that sentiment. Like, we have a long distance relationship, so she's been feeling kind of lonely lately. Not to like give too much of her whatever. I'm not gonna give too much of her business away, but she's been feeling kind of lonely. So I felt like the song was like a really like nice little sentiment for her and stuff last night. And yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was one of the standout tracks on the record for sure. In a Life, I found pretty nostalgic and good. I don't have too many notes on this song specifically, but I did enjoy it for the most part. Just a very nostalgic feeling song. Scars, I loved. I used to cut myself a lot, not to give too much of my bullshit away, but so I like was connecting with like all that stuff about like scars and like not hiding them and whatever, like whatever the fuck. I think it's about Jesus though. I think he's not talking about like someone like cut themselves, but like, for me personally, coming from that background, I connected with the song quite a bit. Though it did drag a bit, a little bit. Resurrection Song is probably my favorite on the EP. I mean, it's a close tie with Coexist. Those two are like very strong contenders for the best song on this EP, in my opinion. And there was a beautiful lyric video that went along and accompanied the song that I really enjoyed. And yeah, I would highly recommend Resurrection Song to a U2 fan. Easter Parade might be my least favorite on the EP, although still pretty like decent. It's U2, so it's like pretty good. But there is like a they say Kyrie Ellison, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Greek for Lord have mercy at the end, and I don't know. I thought that was like pretty beautiful as well. Now, Coexist was very Christian, I felt like. I will bless the Lord at all times being repeated like multiple times throughout the track. There's like beautiful spoken word verses in this track though. And I feel like it's some like of the best poetry on the EP for sure. I loved the song, the lyric about like unconscious drones and hovering above war crimes, and I don't know, I like that they're still on their political bag a little bit. They dipped their toes in there a little bit for this. And yeah, I loved the song, would highly recommend the song to somebody that's like into this band first and foremost. But if you've never heard this band, I would probably like start with Song for Hal first. You know, that's like the most accessible song on the record, I think. And then Coexist, if like you're Christian, check this one out. Like it's really good. So yeah, just to give a little bit of background information about me, I have like a pretty complicated relationship with God. Like I went through a strong atheist phase in high school. I went to a Catholic school from grade 1 to grade 9. And then I was like a big non-believer for a few years. Then 2020 happened, and I feel like my belief in God was like very, very strong. Like it was like, you know, I was praying like a lot during those times and like talking to God and like all that garbage. And I still have like a pretty complicated relationship. Like some days I'm just like, there was like a rough period I went through in 2022, 2023, where I was like very like, where are ya? What, you know, God, whatever. But now I have like a pretty like clear perspective on like my actions and like where I was at and like what I was doing and like, you know, God, I don't know, like everything happens for a reason, all that garbage, you know? But yeah, I believe in God, I think, you know, just to get that on record. And I like appreciate when anyone talks about God and their relationship with like God, whether that be Christian God or some other form of religion. I find it very inspirational and like interesting to hear other people's thoughts. So, you know, that's why I like The Mountain so much by Gorillaz. And, you know, when U2 is like very like putting it at the forefront of their music, like their beliefs, I believe it's very powerful and cool. Now, with that being said, I do feel like Days of Ash EP is stronger than this record. But I would still recommend it to a U2 fan. Like, I think there's a lot to, like, of interesting things going on. Also, sorry about the mess over here. I had, like, bug sprayed, so I had to clear everything out of my cupboards and put them on there. So sorry about that. But anyways, to get back to the review, I'm feeling like a 6.5 out of 10 on this one. You know, definitely above average, but not something that's like blowing me away like this the Days of Ash EP did. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoy it more than me. If you do have an opinion, like leave it in the comments down below. And I hope you have a great day. Happy Good Friday. And peace on this earth. Bye.